Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the AGL Bardock and we're going to see just how good he is at a rainbow level. Now this is Raging Counterattack, AGL Bardock, and he's a pretty interesting character. He was kind of okay upon release, but he really didn't age very well. He raises attack and defense on his super attack. He has attack and defense of 120%, an additional attack of 10% per low class category or low class warrior category ally on his team, and of course he leads the low class warrior category as well as also being a team Bardock lead. Now the thing is, honestly with Bardock, really not like a crazy unit in terms of just general application. He kind of came out at a time where we moved away from long form events where stacking was super duper powerful and kind of pushed into like more midterm content with things like the Gods event and things like that. Also, a lot of his kit is locked behind facing Frieza enemies or Wicked Bloodlines enemies. So things like guaranteed crits, things like additional damage reductions, things like additional like levels of damage is always kind of tied behind facing Wicked Bloodlines category units. Now his transformation is not bad. He loses a bit of raw defense, but he does obviously gain that 18% damage reduction, crit chance, and of course as well he has that little bit of additional or critical hit and evading attack. So like a little bit of a jack of all trades, but 18% is not a lot. Anyone will tell you 18% is not a large amount by which to have crit, evasion, damage reduction, etc. So it's like small sizable amounts of everything that makes him okay, but it really didn't give him enough to kind of excel in any singular given role. Now if you are facing a Wicked Bloodlines category enemy, things are not so bad. Bardock will stack at the same pace as always, which isn't very high by the way, but he'll stack. Then when he transforms, you'll have guaranteed crits, you'll have the whole kind of lot come together. You can see here, back in the day, 3.4 million, it's not bad. It's not a terrible amount of damage to be doing, to be honest with you, for a unit that, obviously on the global side hasn't received his EZA, but 3.4 million is not that bad. It's the same with his defense. Like he's going to get up to 330k after around 3 or 4 stacks, which isn't terrible again. It's not a shocking amount of defense to have back in the day. Your hardest hitting events were things like the Fighting Legend Goku event, the Realm of the Gods events. These events, we're looking at 600, 700k super attacks that characters were taking. So he was surviving those, he was surviving normals, and in the odd situation where you could have him face a Wicked Bloodlines category enemy, he would excel, he would do really well. He'd have all those additional built-in kind of metrics that he'd have to do really good damage. So yeah, in terms of build, it is a bit difficult because obviously basing it on the transform state, you probably want to go into additionals. I mean additionals, it's not too difficult. Additionals is definitely the priority. Some people will give him evasion because of the theory, like he can't tank supers and everything. Thing is, like, okay, he might evade the super, but you're really just kind of giving his damage. Being transformed, he does have attacks effective against all types. It does help him out a lot. Additionals do feel like the best. Just prioritizing additionals as much as possible with a little bit of crit that's left over feels like the best for me. He can potentially get double stacks of his raising defense before he transforms. When he transforms, it maximizes his offensive capabilities. When he transforms, he really gets a evasion equivalent to having 18 in the evasion system anyway. So giving him evasion to me doesn't really feel necessary on him as a unit, so I would definitely just say raising, additional super attacks, and then probably crits is really where I would draw the line, and have him kind of function, because I think that's really where he probably looks good, or his best kind of build. You can give him defensive equips right now. Obviously his EZA will be coming out eventually on global, so that is something to factor in. Link-wise, the Super Saiyan form is a little bit wonky. You've got some weird links there, like First Awakened. You've still got Family Ties. Family Ties is a very hard link to activate, so is First Awakened. Just not super common. So although you do get some common links, you've obviously got Super Saiyan in that. You are missing out still on like the, like best links. Like First Awakened's a great link, you just can't get it active. So his linking is a little bit wonky, but generally he's quite fine. Same warrior race, same lineage, prepared for battle. All of these things, sit at a relatively consistent amount, and he does look pretty good while using them. So I definitely think links are okay. They're not super duper fantastic, but they're in an okay situation. And I think, from that point, he's pretty rock solid. Obviously, once he transforms, his defense stops stacking. You can kind of see that. His defense kind of stagnates. He's not able to stack it. He does still raise defense on the super though for one turn, which does help him out a little bit with the damage reduction and everything. It's okay. Like defensively, the transform state's not bad. In theory, the defense lost definitely gets well replaced by the damage reduction. It's just that the damage reduction is somewhat temporary. So feels a little bit like a catch-22. Like, okay, I've transformed, but I'm only defensively stronger for like a short period of time, because that will fade away, and then that's obviously going to end up being replaced. So I would say stack Bardock for as long as possible if you are using him. Like, just let him stack, let him stack, let him stack, and then eventually what you can do is you can have him kind of transform when you're really feeling like you're in a troublesome situation. That's at least what I would say overall, but it is what it is, realistically speaking. So I think Bardock though, honestly, I haven't looked too much into ZZA. It's not out yet on global. It's going to depend on how big you're into the whole Bardock Super Saiyan thing. I'm not a huge fan of Bardock and his prevalence in the story. I kind of just preferred his original like TV one-shot than this kind of expanded Bardock lore. Some people are super into it. We'll just have to see. But for now, honestly speaking, Bardock, pretty cool in terms of usability. Nice jack of all trades unit, but I think he's just too much a jack of all trades unit. And I think the percentages was just not there. Like the 18% just wasn't really enough. I think they should have probably done like 30 across the board. 30% damage reduction, 30% evasion, 30% crit. Even back then, it wouldn't have been too much. And it probably would have made him like the best unit in the game back then. Or at least a top 5. And then now, it would have, made him age a lot better, I think, overall. Of course, we'll just have to see. At a rainbow level, not too bad, but definitely not up to the standards of today for super hard content. But I think he's still a somewhat interesting unit. His leader skills a bit all over the place. Revenge and low class warriors, a little bit a little bit all over the place. He is still, I think, the only revenge lead. So that's a very interesting kind of dynamic for him to have, to be the only revenge lead. But what can you do? But otherwise I think he's pretty good. Would you link level him? I wouldn't suggest it, even with his easy aim. Like I said, his priority links that are really strong from link leveling, you can't really get, just due to the difficulty of obtaining them. So for me, more just kind of taking him, using him as is, maybe as a floating stacker or as a solid damage option when you're facing Wicked Bloodlines, feels like kind of just where he's at. Like if there's ever events where there's Wicked Bloodlines category characters, Bardock just kind of rocks up. He's like the guy. You're like, cool, I'm going to use him. If there's not, then he kind of drops off. But that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you next time. Bye.